Donald Trump's night just went from his worst nightmare to his worst nightmare on steroids. Taylor Swift, promptly following the debate, came out with a strong and powerful endorsement of Vice President Kamala Harris. And in her endorsement, she went after Donald Trump for using AI images of her and Swifties to create a false endorsement. She talked about the stakes of this election, and she said that she wants to make it very clear she supports Vice President Kamala Harris and her policies to move the nation forward. Also, you'll note in the photo that Taylor Swift posted with this endorsement on her Instagram account, she is holding a cat. She signed her endorsement, Childless Cat Lady, another jab at Donald Trump and his running mate, J.D. Vance, who have said that childless cat ladies are the biggest threat to the United States of America. I want to give a hat tip to our editorial team at the MeidasTouch Network, led by Ron Filipkowski, who were the first to identify J.D. Vance posts about the childless cat lady. We broke that story here at the MeidasTouch Network. It's why I encourage you to go to patreon.com/MeidasTouch to support the work of our editorial team. Let's get into Taylor Swift's strong endorsement of Vice President Kamala Harris. Let's pull it up. Here's the full statement. Like many of you, I watched the debate tonight. If you haven't already, now is a great time to do your research on the issues at hand and the stances these candidates take on the topics that matter to you the most. As a voter, I make sure to watch and read everything I can about their proposed policies and plans for this country. Recently, I was made aware that AI, artificial intelligence of, quote, me, falsely endorsing Donald Trump's presidential run was posted to his site. It really conjured up my fears around AI and the danger of spreading misinformation. It brought me to the conclusion that I need to be very transparent about my actual plans for this election as a voter. The simplest way to combat misinformation is with the truth. I will be casting my vote for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz in the 2024 presidential election. I'm voting for Kamala Harris because she fights for the rights and causes I believe need a warrior to champion them. I think she is a steady-handed, gifted leader, and I believe we can accomplish so much more in this country if we are led by calm and not chaos. I was so heartened and impressed by her selection of running mate Tim Walz, governor of Minnesota, who has been standing up for LGBTQ plus rights, IVF, and a woman's right to her own body for decades. I've done my research and I've made my choice. Your research is all yours to do, and the choice is yours to make. I also want to say, especially for first-time voters, remember that in order to vote, you have to be registered. I also find it's much easier to vote early. I'll link where to register and find early voting dates and info in my story. With love and hope, Taylor Swift, Childless Cat Lady, is how she signs off. Now, Governor Walz has reacted to this strong endorsement, where he is also mentioned for his work in championing the rights of the LGBTQ plus community. Let's hear from Governor Walz.
I was so heartened and impressed by her selection of running mate Tim Walz, who has been standing up for LGBTQ plus rights, IVF, and a woman's right to her own body for decades. I've done my research and I've made my choice. Your research is all yours to do, and the choice is yours to make. I also want to say, especially to first-time voters, remember that in order to vote, you have to be registered. I also find it's much easier to vote early. I will link where to register and find early voting dates and info in my story. With love and hope, Taylor Swift, signed Childless Cat Lady. I have to get your response to that, Mr. Governor.
All those things, I am incredibly grateful, first of all, to Taylor Swift. I say that also as a cat owner, a fellow cat owner. Look, Swifties, you heard it. We know that it's there. That was eloquent. And it was clear. And that's the type of courage we need in America to stand up. We've seen it out of those Republicans who were at the DNC. We've seen it out of women who would like to have their own personal lives kept personal, but are forced to go out there because they nearly died because they can't get abortion services in a pregnancy. And now you have somebody like Taylor Swift coming out, making that very clear. This would be the opportunity, Swifties. KamalaHarris.com. Get on over there. Give us a hand. Get things going.
I want to show you the work that our editorial team led by Ron Filipkowski did to uncover that J.D. Vance clip. It currently has over 30 million views from Ron Filipkowski's post alone. And when J.D. Vance was announced as Donald Trump's running mate, we had all of our Oppo research ready to go. We deployed it, and it's just showing you their own words. Remember what J.D. Vance said about childless cat ladies. Play this clip.
But look, what I was basically saying is that we're effectively run in this country via the Democrats, via our corporate oligarchs, by a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices that they've made. And so they want to make the rest of the country miserable too. And it's just a basic fact. You look at Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, AOC, the entire future of the Democrats is controlled by people without children. And how does it make any sense that we've turned our country over to people who don't really have a direct stake in it? I just wanted to ask that question.
By the way, there were about a dozen other clips that we've presented where J.D. Vance doubles and triples down on that. I think there was one clip where he apologized to the cats if it offended the cats. And he said, but he's not apologizing to the women of America who he may have offended or who he did absolutely offend with that statement. Here's the AI post that Donald Trump made, falsely claiming an endorsement from Taylor Swift. He goes, I accept it's AI images of Swifties, and then an AI image of Taylor Swift. When this was posted by Donald Trump, we made that a priority, a front page story. While corporate media was not covering this at all, we here at the MeidasTouch Network made that a priority, as has been our reporting on one of the other usages of AI by Donald Trump and the MAGA extremists today who have taken the Republican Party hostage, have hijacked it, who have taken it over. They've been posting AI images all day of Haitian migrants stealing dogs and cats, and they've been claiming that there's thousands of Haitian migrants in Springfield, Ohio, and that Donald Trump, they use AI images of Donald Trump, is saving the cats and dogs from being eaten. This was spread all over the right-wing disinformation networks, and this was actually brought up by Donald Trump today using the AI images. There was this bizarre moment. It was all bizarre with Donald Trump speaking. Vice President Kamala Harris performed admirably. She had her facts ready to go. But Donald Trump was like, and do you know what's happening in Ohio? The migrants are eating the cats and the dogs. And they're basing that all on a disinformation campaign. Let's show you that moment from the debate. Let's play it.
Harris, thank you. President Trump, on that point, I want to get your response.
Well, I would like to respond.
Let me just ask, though, why did you try to kill that bill, and successfully so? That would have put thousands of additional agents and officers on the border.
First, let me respond as to the
Please.
rallies. She said people start leaving. People don't go to her rallies. There's no reason to go. And the people that do go, she's bussing them in and paying them to be there, and then showing them in a different light. So she can't talk about that. People don't leave my rallies. We have the biggest rallies, the most incredible rallies in the history of politics. That's because people want to take their country back. Our country is being lost. We're a failing nation. And it happened 3.5 years ago. And what's going on here, you're going to end up in World War III, just to go into another subject. What they have done to our country by allowing these millions and millions of people to come into our country, and look at what's happening to the towns all over the United States. And a lot of towns don't want to talk. It's not going to be Aurora or Springfield. A lot of towns don't want to talk about it because they're so embarrassed by it. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country, and it's a shame. As far as the rallies are concerned, as far as the reason they go is they like what I say. They want to bring our country back. They want to make America great again. It's a very simple phrase, make America great again. She's destroying this country. And if she becomes president, this country doesn't have a chance of success. Not only success, we'll end up being Venezuela on steroids.
I just want to clarify here. You bring up Springfield, Ohio, and ABC News did reach out to the city manager there. He told us there have been no credible reports of specific claims of pets being harmed, injured, or abused by individuals within the immigrant community.
Well, I've seen people on television.
Let me just say here, this is
the people on television say my dog was taken and used for food. So maybe he said that, and maybe that's a good thing to say for a city manager.
I'm not taking this from television.
But the people
I'm
on
taking it from
television
the city
saying their
manager.
dog was eaten by the people that went there.
Again, the Springfield city manager says there's no evidence of that. Vice President Harris, I'll let you respond to the rest of what you've heard.
You talk about extreme. You know, this is, I think, one of the reasons why in this election, I actually have the endorsement of 200 Republicans who have formerly worked with President Bush, Mitt Romney, and John McCain, including the endorsement of former Vice President Dick Cheney and Congress member Liz Cheney. And if you want to really know the inside track on who the former president is, if he didn't make it clear already, just ask people who have worked with him.
Well, there you have it, folks. Big endorsement by Taylor Swift, Vice President Kamala Harris, and Governor Walz. Wanted to report it here first. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 4 million subscribers together. Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful day.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.